One of the most useful things I've learned is that you can't control what happens to you, but you can learn how to stop yourself from being trapped in your own mind. Hi muses! Welcome back to my channel where the women who want everything learn to have their cake and eat it too. I'm your host Nadeen. I'm all about rebuilding the village for women, and I just want to thank you for being here. Please subscribe if you're new so you never miss any of our chats. I'm not saying I'm the most successful or enlightened person in the world, but I have pulled myself out of the dumps mentally, spiritually, and physically. And I've worked so hard on myself and my mindset that if you knew me 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 8 years ago, you don't actually know me now. So many of my problems I used to have wouldn't have been real problems if I had known how to manage my own thoughts. And it got me thinking about all these little pieces of wisdom and beliefs I've collected over the years that have slowly become principles I live by, I guess. I'm always collecting little pieces of wisdom and learnings from psychology, religion, different cultures, conversations, random things I've read that stuck with me. And obviously, also, lessons I've learned on my own. It either makes my life better, helps me become a better person, helps me make difficult decisions, or helps me move past things that I have a really hard time letting go. Like, how do I make sure I create less unnecessary suffering for myself? Because life already throws enough at us. We don't need to create more drama for ourselves. So today, I'm sharing 8 principles and mindsets or rules that I live by that have genuinely improved my quality of life. And I think every smart, successful, lover at heart kind of woman could use a few of these in her own mental toolbox. As always, we don't gatekeep, so let's step into it. Number 1, give people the grace you would want someone to give you too. I came across this idea during a mosque tour when I was in Kuala Lumpur. The guy giving the tour was talking about his religion, and this one bit really stuck with me. I'm going to use road raging as an example because that was how it was explained to me. So someone is speeding, cutting people off, driving crazy, but instead of immediately getting pissed off and cussing them out or getting angry, I'm just like, okay, babe, wherever you are going, apparently you need to get there more urgently than I do, so Godspeed, and I move on. Maybe there was an emergency, maybe somebody they love is in the hospital, maybe their elderly parents stopped answering their phone and they're rushing to do a welfare check. We have no idea what's really going on, and they could literally just be a complete asshole, but that's the whole point. I don't know. So why am I automatically choosing the explanation that makes me the most upset? They drive off. They're not thinking about me anymore. But if I'm still sitting in my car 20 minutes later, still pissed off, still fuming, still thinking about what happened, I'm the only one being mentally taxed at that point, right? There's a concept in psychology called the fundamental attribution error. And it says that we blame other people's personality for what they do, but we discount the situation they might be in. But when we make the same mistakes ourselves, we blame the situation instead of ourselves. Someone cuts you off, they are an asshole. You cut someone off, you gotta rush somewhere to use the bathroom. Someone doesn't say hi and she's rude. You don't say hi because you didn't hear them. We see other people's behavior, but not the context. So I just think about how if I was in a bad situation, I would hope other people would give me grace instead of sending me bad energy and cussing me out. So I choose to think positively and give people grace too. This has removed a level of reactivity in my life that's made me feel more emotionally stable and honestly, life a lot more peaceful. Number 2, take the high road, but only if you actually want to. My relationship with conflict and conflict resolution has gone through a few phases in my life. When I was younger, I was very much an eye for an eye kind of girl. If you hurt me, I am finding some way to hurt you back. And then as I got older, I evolved into I'm not stooping to their level. I am taking the high road and I am above all of this. But now, I pick and choose my battles. There are situations where I genuinely think, wow, this person is an idiot and there's absolutely nothing to gain from engaging with them. Block, goodbye, have the life you deserve. But there are also other times where I'm like, no, I am addressing this because I've noticed that always taking the high road can sometimes become another form of avoidance, especially if you are someone who has spent years people pleasing. If your response to disrespect is always, I'm protecting my peace, I'm not engaging, I'm above this, eventually it becomes a self-worth issue. You think you are taking the high road, but your subconscious thinks you have no backbone and you never stand up for yourself. Being assertive and being aggressive are different. I don't need to destroy you. I don't need revenge, but I also don't need to pretend something didn't bother me because I want to be the bigger person. Sometimes the high road is walking away. And sometimes it's looking somebody directly in the face and saying, talk to me like that again. And there are some days where I'm just like, okay, apparently I am your karma today. So you are going to learn that there are consequences to the things you say and do. So congratulations. Number 3, not really a words of wisdom or mindset, but this is a friendship rule that I live by. I have a 3-strike rule, very simple. If I reach out and make plans with you 3 times in a row, whether or not those plans actually happen doesn't matter. But if the intent and the invitation was extended, I will not be reaching out for a 4th time. You are reaching out, you are making the plans, you are initiating the conversation. And if that doesn't happen, I know where I stand and you will no longer hear from me again. There is actual research around reciprocity in social support, and I think the nuance is really important. Healthy friendships don't mean everything is perfectly one-to-one all the time. Sometimes your friend is going through a divorce and you're giving 80% for 6 months. Sometimes your entire life falls apart and she carries you on her back. But here's where I have a little bone to pick with some of the femininity content I see, which I'm kind of going off on a little tangent here, but this is also part of the reason why I stopped creating short form femininity content, because there's just so much nuance that's hard to address in a 90-second video. I've seen women learn from content that tells them to learn to receive, stop doing everything, let people do things for you, get out of your masculine, which in dating, I 100% agree, but then they start applying this to their girlfriends too. I mean, I am all about taking care of my girls. I believe in spoiling my girlfriends, but like we have to take care of each other. We spoil each other. We make each other feel special and celebrated and supported. So if it's one-sided, like they start expecting their girlfriends to do everything, if they never initiate or plan the hangout, if they never help with planning the girls' trip, they're always just standing there waiting for one of the girls to open the door for them, or they never call the Uber, never help navigate the GPS. Absolutely not. You don't get to sit back and not do anything when you are with your girlfriends just because you don't have to do anything when you're with your man. I genuinely have seen the benefits of softening up and getting more in touch with my feminine energy and how that has improved my life as a recovered hyper-independent woman. But with my girlfriends, it's a team thing. Sometimes you're the princess, sometimes I'm the princess. Sometimes we're both dragging our suitcases, running through the airport, yelling at each other because we're about to miss our flight. Moving on. Number 4 is one of the ways I make decisions when I want 2 things that seem slightly conflicting, and I call this knowing how to cast your net in the right pond. So you have 2 requirements you absolutely need. You pick the requirement that is the most restrictive to cast your net. So for example, I absolutely believe in marrying for love, but I don't believe I should have to choose between love and financial stability. So I would never date from a pool of men who are not financially secure. I make sure that we are fundamentally compatible first, and then I am allowing attraction, chemistry, friendship, connection, whatever, to determine who I actually want. And I realized I do this with friendships too. I want girlfriends who are creative, ambitious, and business-minded, but I don't just want business friends. I want real girlfriends. I want someone I can call and talk to about life, go shopping and have dinner with, go travel with, go get our nails done together. So instead of hoping that every random girl I become friends with happens to be business minded, I put myself in rooms where ambitious entrepreneurial women already are. And then I look around the room and I ask, who are my girls? Who makes me laugh? Who do I vibe with? Who likes the things that I like? Who do I naturally want want to spend more time with. The first requirement determines the pool. The second requirement helps me choose within that pool. I think sometimes we make decisions harder because we search for everything at the same time and they feel like competing priorities, and then you get emotionally attached to options that were never really qualified in the first place. So when you're able to figure out the pond you should actually fish from, you can give yourself so much more freedom to choose what you actually want. Number 5 is actually a really popular, modern, trendy Chinese expression that I thought I would share. It's 不内耗. This phrase changed my life. The moment that I heard it, I immediately adopted it because it just instantly clicked in my head. The direct translation is something along the lines of, don't internally deplete yourself. But the way that I interpret it is, stop wasting your internal resources. 不内耗 is like you choosing not to waste your precious internal energy on matters you really can't do anything about. Your ex-bestie did you so dirty 6 months ago, you're in the shower replaying the argument. You're driving, replaying the argument. You're lying in bed constructing the perfect response you should have said. You're telling another friend about it. You're imagining running into her. You're imagining what she's saying about you. Girl, how many hours are we billing this woman? She doesn't even go here anymore.
Do you even go to this school?
No. Somebody got promoted over you. It was unfair. You're pissed. Okay. Can you appeal it? Can you talk to your boss? Can you change departments? Can you find another job? Can you use this as information to make your next career move? Yes? Great. Do it. But if there is genuinely nothing left to do, why are you continuing to pay with your energy? Ruminating, cycling through negative thoughts, conversations, and scenarios without actually solving any problems. There's a Buddhist teaching I love called the second arrow. The first arrow is the painful thing life does to you. That's real. That's unavoidable and it hurts. But then we shoot ourselves with a second arrow through our mental response to the pain, replaying it, resisting reality, obsessing over it, and adding unnecessary suffering on top of suffering. Sometimes I literally have to catch myself mid-spiral and go, girl, what the are we doing? There are things I want to build. There are people I want to love. There are places I want to be. There is a whole life happening around me. I'm not giving 3 hours of today's mental energy to a person or situation I can't do anything about. It's exhausting, and I am freeing myself from that. And this kind of leads perfectly into number 6, which is another Chinese phrase I love, 放过自己, which literally means set yourself free. That's how I can best explain it. There's definitely an element of surrendering and letting go and forgiving yourself. My perfectionist girls need this desperately because sometimes the person keeping you trapped in your mind is you. You made a mistake 3 years ago and you've sentenced yourself to life without parole. You said something embarrassing, you picked the wrong man, you stayed too long, you trusted somebody you shouldn't have. Oh my God, you failed at something. At what point have you punished yourself enough? Self-reflection is useful. Accountability is useful. Guilt can sometimes even be useful when it teaches you something. But eventually, there has to be a point where the lesson is learned, okay? And then it's self-compassion. Self-compassion is learning how to respond to your own failures without the relentless self-punishment. I think as a perfectionist myself, sometimes we think cruelty towards ourselves is what keeps us motivated and successful. If I stop criticizing myself, I'll get lazy. If I forgive myself, I'll make the same mistake again. But you can hold yourself accountable without all the negativity. And 放过自己 also applies to relationships too. Sometimes two people get into this horrible cycle where you hurt me, so I hurt you, then you hurt me because I hurt you, so now I need you to understand how badly you hurt me. It gets nowhere, just more pain and more suffering. So sometimes the final act of love and self-love is saying, I'm not doing this with you anymore. You set them free and you set yourself free. Number 7, forgive when you can, but give access selectively. Forgiveness and reconciliation are two completely different decisions in my book. I forgive people because, like number 6, 放过自己. I refuse to spend the next 5 years carrying the mental burden of what they did to me. I can accept your apology and genuinely believe you have changed. I can wish you an incredible life, but you will never be in my inner circle again, because forgiveness is about what I'm willing to release, and access to me is about what you've demonstrated I can trust. Last year, someone who was once a very close girlfriend of mine apologized to me years after our friendship ended. I accepted it. The animosity is gone. We are friendly now. And I'm actually really glad we got to this place. But some actions permanently change the relationship and we just wouldn't be back where we were at. I can forgive the person you've become without forgetting what the person you were taught me. And there's another principle I've learned with this, and that's opportunity cost applies to any relationship too. If rebuilding trust with someone who did me wrong requires years of caution, uncertainty, emotional labor, and testing whether they're safe to be around again, I am allowed to ask myself, why wouldn't I invest those same years into building new friendships with someone who's never hurt me? That doesn't mean people can't change. People absolutely can change, but change doesn't mean what's happened didn't happen. And lastly, number 8, I don't really know what to call this, but this is how I learned to care less about what other people think of me. It used to bother me so much what people thought about me or what they said about me, or if they didn't like me, I would want to know why so I could go and try to explain myself. Yeah, I don't do that anymore because I have learned that sometimes it's not about whether or not they like you, but rather whether or not they like themselves. People project, people make certain things mean something, and sometimes it's just not the right vibes. What if they don't like you because you're too in their face about something they wish they had the courage to have done themselves? What if they don't like you because you're a constant reminder of their failed goals? What if they don't like you because they can't help but feel insecure around you? Sometimes people simply don't like your personality or you're not their vibes, and that's okay. You don't like everyone you meet either, so let it be. Appreciate the people who are in your life. Appreciate that the timing, the place, the vibes, the personality all came together in such a way that you became friends. Appreciation has helped me stop obsessing over whether people like me or not, because it's not about being liked anymore. It's about wanting the right kind of people around you. So that's all 8. I wanted to share a little bit around how I think about things with you, because these are how I became the woman I am today. And I know a lot of you watch my videos because you're looking for new ways to change your mindset, how to level up, different ways of thinking. So I hope this episode gave you a little peek inside my brain and that you find some value to help navigate your own thoughts and mindset. I'm really happy I got to share them with you. That's all the cake I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I appreciate it so much. And if you enjoyed our little chat today, please like, hype, and leave a comment to share your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next episode.